So our scoring system, this is new. This is something that just came out a few weeks ago. This is going to give you a score based on some of these metrics that you're seeing on the screen. It's an AI, something that we built ourselves that basically will tell you where you are based on the skill score. Is not based on velocity. This is just based on some of the other metrics. The stuff score, that's a lot more involved, and I'll get to that in a second. But skill score does not take into account velocity. 100 is average, below 100 is below average, above is above average. So you can see like this fastball right here, it seems like a really good fastball. I think the reason why it's a little bit lower is because it's got a little bit more horizontal movement for a four-seam fastball. It also takes into consideration your arm slot, your spin direction, your efficiency, and it gives you that score. The stuff score is a lot more involved. So if I hit the stuff score, what this is going to ask me to do is it's going to ask me what pitches I throw, what level I play at, and then it'll ask you to throw 5 pitches of each pitch type that you throw. So without going through an entire session, I'm just going to go, this is a past session that we've done. I'll hit OK. And so you can look at your past sessions. And this is a fantastic, fantastic thing to not only see where you're at, but also find out ways to improve where you're at. So let's go to his slider. So this is the slider. He threw 5 sliders. This is giving you an average spin rate, an average spin efficiency, movement, velocity of those 5 sliders that he threw, an average arm slot, average spin direction. So everything's right here. It gives you a heat map that'll tell you where this specific pitch plays best in the strike zone. And this is based on real data, real game data, where it shows down and away to a right-handed batter is probably where you most likely want to throw this slider. Up and in, also you can get away with a slider up here. I wouldn't recommend trying to throw an up and in slider. That's not exactly what we want to do, but it does show that if you throw a backup slider, or if you just happen to not throw it where you want to, but it still ends up right here, that's still going to be an effective pitch. And it goes right-handed hitter. You can also switch it over to a left-handed hitter as well. It's going to be very similar down and in, back foot slider. That's where we want to throw a lefty. So again, this is why it's not just in the strike zone. It's also showing you where it plays well out of the strike zone as well. So it's a great way to not just see what your pitch is doing, but again, this is a tip, and this is helping you figure out how to maximize what you're doing, how to get the most out of this pitch. And then down here, this is actually giving you some suggestions on how to improve your score of these sliders. So, it's always very subtle suggestions. We're not going to tell you to, to completely change your arm slot. You got to throw sidearm, or got to go straight over the top. This is very, very subtle. So this is telling you to lower your arm slot from 141 to 211. So that's asking you to change your arm slot from there to about there. So very subtle movements. But this is saying that if you want more horizontal movement for your slider, maybe drop your arm slot just a tiny bit. Because right here, this had 9 inches of horizontal movement. Slider should maybe have a little bit more than that. Raise your spin direction. That's another thing too. Raising your spin direction increases horizontal movement on breaking balls for more sweep or run. And it also says maybe increase your speed on the slider. A faster slider can be more effective. So, it walks you through everything. You do the whole assessment. It gives you your score, but then it also gives you suggestions on how to improve that score. So this is something you don't have to have an instructor or a coach. You can do this at home, throwing a bullpen at home or wherever you are. You can use this to not just get a sense of where you're at, but how to improve certain pitches as well.